Well, hello and welcome to this Natural Grocers class that's offered for the Pikes Peak Library District. My name is Dawn Franz, and I am the nutritional health coach that works for Natural Grocers on North Academy Boulevard. I'm happy to be here to talk with you about a fun thing, body care products, as well as nutrients and things that help support the health of your skin. I do other things at the store that you might be interested in. Natural Grocers hires nutritional health coaches to offer free one-on-one coaching. So that's something that's available to you by appointment. Now it's offered in person. We are starting in April to offer in-person classes. We haven't been able to offer in-person classes in the store for 2 years now, so that's very exciting. I don't have classes scheduled yet, but I will have some scheduled for April. So if you do shop in the store, please pick up a event calendar to find out what classes I also offer in the store in the next few months. So those are some great things you can take advantage of at Natural Grocers. Today, the class that I'm offering is called Do It Yourself Body Care for Everybody, Scrub Goodbye to Skincare Chemicals. I just want to kind of start today with a question for you to think about. I want to ask how many personal care products you use on a daily basis. It's a good question, right? We don't even think about it as we're going through our routines and our lives, how many products we're putting on our body and utilizing every day. It's things like hairspray, body wash, nail polish, makeup, lotions, lip balms. So we're using quite a few products. If you can count it up, kind of think of what your number is in your head. I feel like I probably definitely have more than 10 products, and I think a lot of Americans do. On average, though, the Environmental Working Group did a little study, and they noted that on average, most Americans use at least 9 body care products. So within those body care products, there's a couple different components in there, right? And there may be ingredients and chemicals. So on average, if you look at those different 9 products, there may be up to 126 different ingredients in those products that might be getting on your skin. So 1% of men and about 25% of women use 15 or more products a day. And we put some sort of product on our bodies every day, right? So we often don't stop to give these products or their ingredients much thought. But especially today, we're going to talk about why what you put on your body really matters. We're going to delve into that, and then we'll also talk about personal care products that you can make at home with simple ingredients so that you can definitely kind of healthy up your body care routine. Before we get started, I do have to get some business out of the way and let you know that this class is not intended to treat or diagnose or mitigate any disease, and that dietary supplements and foods can interact with prescription medications. So just make sure that if you are taking a prescription med that you're informed about any possible interactions. So I have worked for Natural Grocers for 20 years. They're one of the most unique health food stores in the industry. And part of that is because they're dedicated to providing free nutrition education. And that's why they have a nutritional health coach like me at every store to do classes and offer free coaching sessions. They're also committed to quality. They've been committed to quality since they started over 60 years ago. And you can see that in our 100% organic produce, our naturally raised animal products, our commitment to not carrying any body care or supplement products that have artificial sweeteners or flavors or artificial fragrances. We also don't carry anything that has harsh binders and fillers when it comes to supplements, and we're really careful about the companies that we bring in. So you know that we have pre-screened all those products before they make it on our shelves. We're also committed to affordable pricing so that everyone has access to nutritional products that can support the health of their bodies and make a difference and support the health of the planet. We're committed to our community, so that's why Natural Grocers pays me to do classes like this for the community for free. And we also are involved in other events in the community, and we also have great employees. We're committed to supporting the health and welfare of their employees by offering them nutrition classes and the opportunity to purchase healthy products to help support their health routines. So first of all, we're going to talk about today the problem with conventional body care products. So you can kind of understand why it's important to look into what you're using and what you're putting on your body. And then we're going to talk about the products we carry at Natural Grocers and what makes them different. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about how you can, if you're really interested, and it can be definitely fun, and making some of your own body care products and what type of ingredients you might want to consider and how to do it. So let's start out with a little quiz, a couple questions to get you thinking and to kind of think about some labeling that we see on conventional body care products. So first off, do you think that cruelty-free, or when it says not tested on animals, means that no animal testing was done on the product and its ingredients? Since this is a recording and a video, you don't have to respond, but just think about what you think the answer is. Well, I wish it was true, but unfortunately it's false. Cruelty-free or not tested on animals really doesn't mean what you think it would mean. Even if the finished product was never tested on animals, there's a good chance that some of the ingredients were. So next question. Choosing products that claim Dermatologist Tested is a way to avoid an allergic reaction or skin irritation. What do you guys think? True or false? Well, again, I would love that was true. But unfortunately, even if a product is labeled hyperallergenic, it may contain, or sorry, if a product is labeled dermatologist tested, it really doesn't tell you anything about the product, unfortunately. That label claim can leave you thinking things like, who were these dermatologists that were testing these products? How many were they paid by the manufacturer? How many people was the product tested on, if any? And how long did the testing last? What were the testing? What were the results? So the label really doesn't tell you anything, unfortunately, when it says dermatologist tested. It's another marketing term. All right, so next question. So even if a product is labeled hyperallergenic, it may contain a substance that can cause an allergic reaction for some people. So what do you think on this one? True or false? Well, this one is actually true. There are really no standards or definitions that govern the term hypoallergenic. And so it means whatever a particular company wants it to mean. Really, we all are so unique, and some people may interact with different substances. So it'd really be impossible to guarantee that a product would not cause a reaction in anyone. So the term hypoallergenic doesn't really hold up much meaning either. And then last question, product safety testing is required before a product reaches the market when it comes to body care products. True or false? All right, so you probably have figured out the name of the game with this one, but false. Neither the law nor the FDA regulates specific tests to demonstrate safety of individual products or ingredients when it comes to body care products. It's definitely one of the industry that definitely kind of slides under the cracks, unfortunately, and most people have no idea. So this quiz helps to kind of highlight the fact that there's not a whole lot of oversight for body care products. And we can't trust a body care product simply by its label or just because it has made it to a retail shelf. So it's important that we really educate ourselves about the ingredients, and that's what we're going to do next. So now there are many body care ingredients and much more than we can cover today, but we're going to cover some different categories that these chemicals and compounds could kind of fall into. So many body care products contain ingredients that are endocrine disruptors or neurotoxins, respiratory toxins, skin irritants, or petroleum derived. So most conventional body care products contain at least one, if not many, questionable ingredients. And let's look at some of the categories that these ingredients might fall into and why they might be problematic. So first, we're going to talk about endocrine disruptors. These are chemicals that interfere with our hormonal systems. They're suspected of interfering with either reproductive growth or neurodevelopment in children and the elderly, or they can affect our immune function. Compounds like BPA or dioxin, phthalates, these are BPA and phthalates are compounds that might be used in plastics to make them softer. Fire retardants are endocrine disruptors. Unfortunately, fire retardants can be found in new furniture and children's pajamas. Sunscreens that contain oxybenzone can act like an endocrine disruptor and have been shown in studies to do so. Propylethylene glycol is a preservative that's used in a lot of body care products. We don't allow it here at Natural Grocers. I've also seen it at other stores in like things like ice cream, but it's a endocrine disruptor. So meaning that they may act, these chemicals might mimic hormones in the body like estrogen, and they might actually interact with our hormone receptors and affect the way our hormone systems work. Another category that we could be concerned about in body care products are neurotoxins. They might be naturally occurring, things like heavy metals, or they could be synthetic chemical agents that can cause a functional or structural changes in our nervous system or our brain function. An example of a naturally occurring heavy metal might be something like lead or aluminum. Sometimes you may find formaldehyde. I don't think that's a naturally occurring compound, but so children tend to be more susceptible to these heavy metals and other neurotoxins because their brains are still developing, their nervous systems are still developing, plus their blood-brain barrier, which is a barrier that we are a little bit more protected by, is not fully formed yet, so it can allow more toxins into the brain, be more problematic. Very young children might even be exposed to neurotoxins through breast milk or even through the placenta. So it kind of depends how often you're exposed to these or whether it's a prolonged exposure, which can determine whether it's going to affect your health or problematically. Like something, for example, that you're rubbing on your body every day versus if it's something like hair dye that you're putting on like once every 6 months or once every 8 weeks, you're not getting exposed to those neurotoxins as much of a daily basis as you would if it's just so ever so often. But things like deodorant, which contains aluminum, might be something you're putting on every day. Another group of people that might be more sensitive to neurotoxins from their body care products are the elderly, because their liver or kidneys might be not functioning as well and may not be able to clear out these toxins as quickly, so they can be more problematic. And there's some diseases and conditions associated with more sensitivity to neurotoxins. It would be people that might have Parkinson's, and this can be even, part and parcel of developing Parkinson's. It can contribute, like heavy metals or other contaminants can contribute to loss of taste and smell. If there's like direct exposure, maybe eye damage, neuropathy, mood issues like anxiety and depression, and even forgetful, like more extreme cases like dementia. So we don't tend to think of our brain when we're applying lotion, right, or any product to the skin for that matter, but it's actually a big concern here. The next category is respiratory toxins. So sometimes chemicals can be inhaled and they can cause adverse reactions to the respiratory system. Respiratory toxicity can include like irritation, can contribute to bronchitis or even pulmonary edema, emphysema, and cancer. So exposure to respiratory toxins is largely through products that are sprayed on or aerosolized, and then we're going to breathe those things in, like hairspray or bug spray, or powdered products like talc that you're putting on, and that's going to be aerosolized. So some of the chemicals that could be respiratory toxins, chlorine, for example, like if you're real sensitive to chlorine and you're swimming in a pool that's very heavily chlorinated, that could irritate the respiratory tract. Aluminum, ammonia, talc can be a respiratory irritant. Propylene glycol or sulfur dioxide, there's some other respiratory irritants. And then we can have some skin irritation from body care products, right? Something that just might be irritating, which might cause redness or itching or swelling, or even painful blisters or sores in the more extreme cases. Some ingredients that can cause skin irritation might cause contact dermatitis in some people, or even allergic contact dermatitis, which might cause like the hives or more of a stronger reaction. Rising rates of allergy have been noted due to the preservative methyl-lysothiazolinine, or MI for short, that's a long one. It's a preservative commonly found in like body wipes, like makeup wipes or other types of wipes, and also hair products too. Those seem to be the greatest categories with this MI compound. And then the final category that we might find some problematic ingredients in conventional body care products are things like petroleum-derived ingredients, which are byproducts of the oil industry. They are often contaminated with heavy metals or chemical impurities, and they actually do block the body's natural moisture regulating function. So it can leave like your lips and your skin even drier. One of the compounds and contaminants associated with petroleum-derived products is a compound called 1,4-dioxane. The EPA lists it as a probable human carcinogen as well. So I usually think of petroleum products in Vaseline. That's kind of the first one that comes to mind, right? Vaseline's a product most Americans have in their homes and use maybe every day or occasionally. I remember my mom using Vaseline as a makeup remover, so that's something she would have applied every day. We have a great kind of natural alternative to Vaseline. It's called unpetroleum jelly, made by Alba Botanicals. It doesn't have any petroleum products, but its consistency is very similar. So that's a great thing to think of if you do use Vaseline on a daily basis. Some people, it's so dry here in Colorado, might use Vaseline as a protectant to their skin. But unfortunately, if you're using it every day, especially on broken skin, you're going to absorb more, but you're getting more exposure to those problematic products. So these ingredients all sound pretty terrible, right? I'm painting a pretty bad picture. So you might be wondering if it matters what you put on your skin at all. Isn't it the job of the skin to be a barrier? So what gives, right? And does any of this really matter? So we're not really ingesting these products. We're not drinking the lotion. So is it a cause for concern? Well, while it is true that one of the skin's main function is to create a barrier between you and the outside world, many compounds can and do cross through the skin and end up in circulation and end up in the body. And there's quite a few examples of that in the industry. To kind of give you a quick example, things like hormone patches, estrogen, progesterone, we know that they are absorbed with the skin and they're used transdermally. Nicotine patches, you definitely absorb that nicotine through that patch. Scopolamine for motion sickness, or even like nitroglycerin patches for angina pectoris. So there's quite a few things that we use to transfer medicine into the skin because we know it can be absorbed. And there is plenty of studies out there kind of testing and seeing if we do get these compounds into the body. For example, mineral oil saturated hydrocarbons have been found in breast milk and fat cells of new mothers, and cosmetics appear to be the main culprit as far as the source of this compound. Natural Grocers does not carry any products that carry mineral oil because of this reason. Parabens are often used as a preservative in many body care products. It's very commonly found in lotions. Parabens are endocrine disruptors, and they do get absorbed through the skin. Studies do show that when tested, they found blood samples of parabens to be high in 63% of the women, and it was associated with the use of lotions. So yeah, we all the companies we carry use something else besides parabens as their preservative. Another compound is something that's found in conventional sunscreens called benzophenone 3. It's also an endocrine disruptor, and it has been measured to be found in samples of 97% of the US population. So that's something that's pretty ubiquitous. Sunscreens kind of do stick around in the body, unfortunately, those compounds do. And those topical chemicals do also enter into the environment and can be problematic. We'll talk about that in just a minute. It's also interesting to note that toxins that are absorbed through the skin, if you think about it, they go right into our systemic circulation. So that can be more problematic for the body or the brain, in contrast to when we're getting toxins maybe from our food, because they go through the digestive tract first and then are sent to the liver, where the liver has a chance to detoxify and clear out some of these toxins. Well, toxins that enter through the skin do eventually make their way to the liver, but there's more of a chance for them to get into our nervous system and our brain and be more damaging before they get there. So in some ways, the body is more susceptible to toxins that are absorbed through the skin than ingested through food, because they bypass the liver. So let's talk about why you might be concerned about certain products. You just kind of want to think about how frequently you might be using certain products, as far as whether you have an extended exposure to some chemicals, and that might kind of clarify what products you want to buy naturally or not. So definitely think about those products that you're applying on a daily basis, because you're getting exposure to those every day. So like your lotions, or maybe think about hair dye, again, because it's something you only apply occasionally. So even if it might be more toxic, it might be okay on the scale of things because you're not using that on a daily basis. Hopefully, yeah, you don't want to be exposed to hair dye chemicals every day. And then also think about the area of the body that you're applying these products. So if it's like a lotion that you're putting all over your body, you're more exposed to those contaminants. If you're applying something to like scraped or braised skin, or eczema, or irritated skin, you're gonna absorb more of that compound. So think about that as well. And then maybe also thinking about where you're applying it, like the thickness of the skin. The thinner areas of skin are going to absorb things a little bit more readily. So things that are applied in like the armpits, the scalp, the genital area, those are the and we have a lot of products focused on these areas. And those might get absorbed a little bit better because the skin isn't as thick, versus maybe something that you're putting on some other areas that have a little bit thicker of skin. So, and sometimes we actually do ingest these chemicals, right? If we're putting lipstick on, we might lick our lips, or we're going to eat some food or drink something where we might then actually ingest that lipstick. It used to kind of drive me crazy. I have 3 kids, but they are older now. When they're babies and relatives come over and give them big smooch with their lipstick, I was like, oh gosh, those poor kiddos. Luckily it didn't happen too often, but that's what I was thinking. The problem with conventional body care products doesn't stop with our bodies, unfortunately. So in addition to health threats, many of the ingredients in conventional body care products pose, these same ingredients can actually have wide-reaching effects to our environment. And when they enter our water supplies. So a lot of these chemicals are very difficult to filter out in water treatment plants, and they do enter into groundwater supplies. can affect aquatic animals like fish or amphibians, and even like birds and further up the food chain of animals that eat those fish or aquatic animals. So we definitely want to think about that with chemical sunscreens. If we're wearing a sunscreen and we're bathing in a natural lake or a river, those endocrine disrupting chemicals that are in those sunscreens are going to affect the wildlife. So it's definitely important as you're living in Colorado, think about using a mineral-based sunscreen so that your sunscreens don't disrupt the wildlife where you're swimming. And this is one of the most shocking things. I don't think people think about it, but the emissions from volatile organic compounds that come from personal care products are actually considered to be a significant source of air pollution in urban areas. So the off-gassing of VOCs can lead to smog formation, harming the environment and negatively impact human health. If you think about it, like say you're out on a walk in your neighborhood, you're walking your dog and you walk by a house and you can smell the fragrance from like their dryer sheets, or someone, you know, they just took a shower, you can smell the fragrance from their shampoo. Those chemicals and the fragrances are permeating the air, right? And there was a 2018 study that estimated that the gassing of personal care products constitutes about 20% of the VOCs that are emitted in Los Angeles. 20%. That's crazy. There was another study in Boulder, Colorado, that showed that VOC emissions from shampoos, lotions, deodorants, antiperspirants rivaled that of vehicle exhaust. So our environment is something that's taking a brunt from our personal care products as well. So all this info might leave you feeling a bit confused or maybe a little worried. If these products are so bad, then what are you supposed to do? I mean, I'm sure you don't want to give up your favorite shampoo or your lotion, but the good news is you don't have to. So you can take a deep breath with me. There are other options. There's products out there that you can find and use that are made without these chemicals, or you can make your own body care products. You don't have to give up all of your body care products. Just give up the ones that contain all these hazardous chemicals. So just like all of the products in our stores, we have extremely high standards for body care products. And we want to make sure that we offer better quality and safer products when you buy at our stores. So this is a list of ingredients that we don't allow in any of our body care products that we carry. We don't allow aluminum or petroleum products. We don't allow formaldehyde, which you can find in a lot of like makeup, for example, artificial colors. I mentioned mineral oil earlier. We don't actually carry antibacterial soaps. Nothing with artificial fragrances. Nothing with parabens, we mentioned that. Our deodorants all do not contain aluminum as a preservative, so that's, you'll find that in anything that we carry. I mean, you won't find aluminum in any of the deodorants. So there's quite a few things, and then also chemical-based sunscreens. A couple years ago, we just stopped carrying any chemical sunscreens that contain oxybenzone or benzene, and only carry sunscreens that are mineral-based, like with zinc oxide or titanium oxide. They're healthier for you and healthier for the planet. So if you really want to check out things that we don't carry, we have a sheet that you can, a handout that you can pick up when you're here, and it's titled Things We Don't Carry and Why. So if you're kind of like, well, that doesn't make sense, it's a great resource to find out why we don't carry certain things. And then also, there's another tool you can use, Environmental Working Group. Their website is ewg.org. They do have an app within their website that allows you to scan products, and it gives safety ratings and information about the product. So if you're unsure, if you're shopping at anywhere else besides Natural Grocers, you're kind of unsure the safety of a product, you can look it up through the Environmental Working Group in their app. All right, since nutrition is kind of like my forte, I do, you know, you want to think about what goes on your body. I can't let you get away without talking a little bit about nutrition and lifestyle. So another step that you can take for beautiful skin is thinking about the foods that you put in your body and taking care of your skin from the inside out. So the skin is a reflection of the health of the body, of course. It's our largest organ of detox too. So if you're treating your body well by eating a healthy diet, you're going to see that in your skin. So these are top 4 steps for creating beauty from the inside out. So first off, make sure you're eating a healthy but delicious diet of unprocessed real foods, naturally raised meats and eggs, wild fish, brightly colored fruits and veggies, nuts and seeds, and unrefined oils. If you want some tips on how to achieve this diet, definitely contact me at the store and we can do a coaching session to kind of get you more on track with eating a healthier diet. And then number 2, they don't call it beauty rest for nothing, right? Getting plenty of sleep is super helpful to keeping you looking your best. So doing things like unplugging from electronics before bed so you don't interfere with melatonin production, balancing stress, or creating a good healthy sleep routine to make sure that you're getting the most Z's that you can. And then number 3 is moving your body daily. So exercise doesn't have to be like going to the gym and knocking out a workout and coming home. Exercise can be whatever is fun for you. If you like to dance, dance in your living room, walking your dog, getting some fresh air, doing yoga. It doesn't really matter. Just moving your body on a daily basis really helps support overall health of your body. It helps with circulation. It helps with healthy bowel movements, even stress. We relieve stress and release stress relieving neurotransmitters after exercise. So there's a lot of benefits to it for the body. And then also number 4, maybe considering a skin supportive supplement routine. I mean, first and foremost, the foundational nutrients like a good quality multivitamin is a good idea because you're getting all the nutrients like maybe zinc or vitamin C that can be beneficial for skin health. And then on top of that, a good omega-3, whether it's a fish oil or if you're vegetarian or you can't take fish oil, and algae oil that gives you omega-3. Omega-3s are one of the most important things to help balance inflammation in the body, and our skin can be inflamed in some cases. So really helpful. And then in Colorado, we're kind of getting into springtime and summer's coming up where it's a great time to be outdoors. And we're closer to the sun here, so the UV exposure is amplified. You really want to be careful about protecting your skin from UV damage. So certain supplements might be helpful. Supplements like astaxanthin and lutein and collagen can definitely be added, especially in the summertime, to give you some extra protection from the sun. Make sure to wear sunscreen, but these nutrients can also support the health of your skin in the summertime. Green tea can be taken as a supplement, or drinking more green tea in the summertime is great. It does add a little bit of UV protection from the sun. So even though we have a great selection of natural and safe body care products for you to choose from, you might still want to make some of your own body care products. And do-it-yourself body care is really easy and fun, and it can be simple. There's a lot of techniques that you can use. There's lots of ingredients that you might actually have already in your home, so that's what makes it kind of easy. And the cool thing about homemade body care products is they make really great gifts to give to your family and friends, and you can kind of custom tailor them to your needs and your maybe allergies or sensitivities, and you really can pick out what can be beneficial for your skin. If you have dry skin, you need more moisturizing, you need to exfoliate more. There's a variety of ways that you can really tailor it to you. So a great place to start. This is some simple things that you might have at home. These might be foods or spices that can be used to cleanse, hydrate, and heal, and generally like pamper the skin. There is a link to this handout in the chat pane, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I see the body care. It's there. Okay, awesome.
DIY
thank you, Melissa.
Body care recipes.
Okay. So there's some recipes that you can look at, but I'm just going to highlight some simple, like maybe food ingredients that can be used and why you would want to use them. So apples or apple juice can be great as a exfoliant and just kind of moisturizer. You can add them as a toner. Apple cider vinegar itself can be an exfoliating astringent, so it can be used as a toner. It can be used as kind of a rinse to help with buildup in the hair and scalp. Baking soda, something simple like baking soda can be used for a lot of different things. It can be added to kind of increase the pH of a bath to really help with moisturizing the skin and soften the skin. It can be used as a whitener for teeth. Mixing baking soda and a little bit of hydrogen peroxide and putting that on your toothbrush can really help to whiten your teeth pretty effectively. And also it can be used as a deodorizer if you want to use it for like your feet or your underarms and like a deodorant mixture. Avocados, I forgot to mention, great for a healthy mask for the face. Bananas can also be used. They've got lots of enzymes in there that can exfoliate. And who hasn't heard of using cucumber slices for eye bags? Very relaxing. Green tea can be used as a toner and chilled in the refrigerator to kind of apply, again, to kind of cool the eyes and help with inflamed or tired eyes. You can actually use the tea bags after you've brewed them, put them in the refrigerator and just kind of place them on your eyes. One of my favorite ones is honey. Honey is a natural exfoliant and it's great for the skin, and it actually helps to moisturize the skin at the same time. So you can just use it directly. I mean, make sure you're getting a really good quality organic honey, like some of the honeys that we carry here, but you just put the honey, it might be kind of sticky, so make sure you don't get your hair stuck in all this honey, but you just apply the honey directly to your face, kind of walk around, do whatever you do for about 5 to 10 minutes and then rinse it off. It makes your skin really smooth and it's something simple and fun to do. Oatmeal is great to add to a bath to help with any kind of inflamed tissue. It really soothes. Yogurt can be used in exfoliant, so you could do like a yogurt mask. So a lot of these things are kind of fun. There's things that you may already have in your home that you can use. So then when you start making a lot of your own body care products, you'll see oils as one of the main ingredients. So I kind of want to talk about what oils you want to use. A lot of your cooking oils can also be used on your skin as long as you're using good quality cooking oils. So look for organic oils that have been cold pressed or unrefined, and also in a glass bottle that helps protect the oil from being oxidized. So a lot of your edible oils like olive oil, coconut oil that you find in the grocery department can make good choices for your topical use as well. There's a lot of other oils you can use potentially. These are some of the ones you can use. Jojoba oil is a great oil for hydrating the skin, and it's kind of nice. It can be used for both dry and oily types. It's very similar to our skin's own natural oil and sebum. Almond oil is a good all-purpose oil, especially for dry or itchy, inflamed skin. Sometimes people have nut allergies, so that's maybe not the best choice. In that case, grapeseed oil is a good choice. It's very light, odorless, and hypoallergenic. It's also good for putting in the hair. Olive oil can be a great choice for like lip balms maybe, or salves. It's rich in vitamins and minerals itself, as well as antioxidants. It moisturizes and soothes. You can use olive oil as a moisturizer directly for your face. Some people, though, are kind of put off by the smell of olive oil or the color. So if that's going to be something that bothers you in your products, you might want to choose a different oil like grapeseed or apricot. Apricot is nice because it has a very neutral scent. It's very light and it absorbs easily. So that would be a good alternative. A lot of people think that coconut oil is a good moisturizer, but the thing with coconut oil, it's more of just like a protective layer on the skin. The molecules in coconut oil are kind of larger than our skin cells, and so not a lot of that oil actually gets absorbed into the skin from coconut oil. It kind of sits on your skin, but it does provide a bit of a protective layer. So think of that like it could be okay in a lip balm because it helps kind of protect the lips, but it doesn't really absorb into the skin. So kind of just choose based off your skin type. If you know you have oily skin, you don't want to put something like coconut on your skin. You probably want something that's more light, like apricot oil or almond oil. And then also kind of think about how it feels or smells as far as to make your choice. And there's a lot of other oils that might be used in making body care products. You can definitely use avocado oil or safflower oil. Some of the oils you might choose just because of more of the healing purpose. A rosehip seed oil naturally has vitamin C, so that's really a great oil to apply to the face for aging skin. Tamanu or argan oil might be good choices. Tamanu has a lot of antioxidants, so again, great for aging skin. Argan oil, great moisturizer for the skin, but I also think of that for the hair. It's a great protectant and moisturizer for the hair to put a little argan oil in the hair. So now that you've got your oil, you might find recipes for like exfoliation. It's kind of that time of the year where our skin's been through winter and we're ready to bare our skin for spring and summer. So we want to think about some ways to exfoliate off those dead cells. So what are some great natural things we can use for exfoliation? Exfoliation is great because it does increase circulation, and it allows, when we remove dead skin cells, it allows new cells to emerge, and that leaves skin feeling smoother and looking better. Things like old-fashioned rolled oats can be great and gentle and moisturizing. We might use things like flaxseed or even almond meal or nuts can actually be helpful because they naturally have some oil content, versus when we use like a sea salt scrub. Sea salt is best when we combine it with like a carrier oil because it definitely can be very drying. It's high in minerals and can be exfoliating, but without that oil in there, it can definitely be drying. That's kind of why sugar is nice in an exfoliating scrub because it moisturizes for dry skin. So maybe you do like a combination of sea salt and sugar in a scrub. Baking soda, again, is great for exfoliation and it definitely soothes the skin. You might want to do or add some essential oils to like a exfoliating scrub just to kind of add to the experience. You might put something like lavender or orange or vanilla oil in your exfoliating scrub. There is a recipe in the handout I gave you for some body scrubs, which is a great one. I actually mix that up pretty much every year about this time of year to slough off dead skin cells. Some other ingredients that we carry that you might think about for do-it-yourself body care products are things like beeswax. Beeswax is great for balms or salves. It actually adds kind of more of a protective barrier and kind of locks in moisturizers, and it can definitely thicken those creams and salves. So we do carry beeswax. Castile soap is a mild soap that's made from mostly vegetable oils. We carry our own Natural Grocers brand, but also Dr. Bronner's, which is great. They're kind of like a great example of a good Castile soap. Castile soap originated in the Castile region in Spain. That's kind of where it got its name. But traditionally, Castile soaps contain about 40% oil, olive oil. If you do want to add your own scent, look for the baby version of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, and then you can add your own essential oils. So cocoa butter and shea butter are great if you're wanting to use them for lip balms or a thicker moisturizer. Those are great. Cocoa butter also has a chocolate fragrance, which is kind of nice. It's kind of tasty, I think, to add to a lip balm. Aloe vera gel might be something you use to mix up an after sun spray. So you can add that to like apple cider vinegar and maybe some lavender, and then like distilled water to spray on after sun exposure. Hydrosols are a floral water that can be used, and they actually do contain some healing properties. When essential oils are extracted, for example, like lavender oil or rose oil, when they are extracted, the oil gets distilled off, and then there's a little like floral water that remains, and it still contains a lot of scent from the flower, whether it's rose water or lavender. So these hydrosols or floral waters can really be used to replace water in a lot of your products. Great for toners, or even, like I said, to use in place of water. Do think about that too, the type of water you're using. Reach for distilled water or purified water, because you don't want to add any more bacteria or any type of contaminants that would end up in your body care products. And then another ingredient you would find in do-it-yourself body care products are essential oils. Essential oils can be used as preservatives. They can support skin function, and they can just be used to add a great scent to enhance the emotional or psychological benefits of your do-it-yourself body care products. So some of the essential oils that are good for the skin, but also can be relaxing, are things like chamomile. Lavender is a great preservative, and it makes you more relaxed. Rosemary is a great one to use as a preservative. Rosemary is great for brain function, focus, and concentration. Neroli is one of my favorites. It's a citrus flower, so it's very sweet and floral. It's definitely a great one for mood enhancement. And then finally, you can extend the life of your products by using healthier ingredients. You don't have to use parabens or other petroleum-based products to extend the life of your products. Vitamin E, something as simple as vitamin E oil. You can either buy a bottle of vitamin E oil or squeeze a little vitamin E capsule. If you prick it with a pin that you have sanitized, you can squeeze a little bit of vitamin E in there. Vitamin E kind of doubles because it's an antioxidant, and it's actually healing for the skin, but it also prevents those oils from going rancid as quickly. Rosemary, I mentioned, it's great for supporting microbial balance in your do-it-yourself body care products, but it also is good for toning the skin. Geranium oil is helpful as a preservative, and it has more of a light floral scent than rosemary, and it's also mild on the skin. So those are some other options. And really, you don't have to add a whole lot. It's just 1 to 2 drops per ounce of any product that you're making when it comes to the essential oils. So now we've gone through the ingredients that you could use for do-it-yourself body care products, but there's some tools that you might need when you're mixing up these products and using some of the recipes. You can find a lot of these products in your kitchen, but if you get to where you're making a lot of things, you might decide that you want to get your own set separate from your cooking supplies, so that you're not maybe getting essential oils in your cake. So things that you want to have around to measure, like your own measuring cups and spoons, specifically maybe for your do-it-yourself body care products. Glass measuring cup, you want to make sure that we sanitize the holders, like say you're reusing maybe a jelly jar, make sure you sanitize those containers before you fill them with your body care products. We sell a ton of great products that you can use to put things in: little jars, glass jars, plastic jars, dropper bottles. We have a variety of different containers that you can purchase. We even have little lip balm containers, so that if you want to make your own lip balm, you can fill those. You might consider having your spatulas, spoons, knives. If you need pots and pans, a double boiler to melt down like beeswax and some of the thicker oils like coconut oil or shea butter. And then a kitchen scale, it's not essential. It can be tremendously helpful when you're making your own body care products, because a lot of the recipes are written by weight. And then just some final tips on do-it-yourself body care products. Labeling is super important. So believe it or not, you might, lose track of your favorite item that you've made, and then you're kind of looking at it like, how long ago did I make this? Is this still good? So you'll be happy that you labeled it with the date and what's in it, so you remember. And then just kind of to be safe, more safe than sorry, maybe test all of the ingredients on a spot in your body that's inconspicuous, like maybe your underarm, to make sure you don't react to certain ingredients before you mix up your body care products. It's super fun. You can get, your kids involved or grandkids involved in making products. They love to mix stuff up, don't they, and make a mess. So just make sure also that you're using ingredients that aren't old, because that's really not worth it in the end. So make sure you're buying fresh ingredients from the start, and make sure you're, sealing your containers and maybe storing them in like a dark cabinet so that they extend the life that you can get out of them. So making your own body care products is kind of part science and part experience. So kind of give yourself the benefit of that and just kind of do some experimentation. Sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. But with a little bit of practice, you start to get better and better. And they make really great gifts for family members and friends. We have some great resources at the store. If you're interested, we do carry most of these books. The book Organic Body Care Recipes by Stephanie Torles is a great one. And we should carry this one still, Natural Beauty at Home by Janice Cox. If you're wanting to get some ideas on foods or cleanses or some things to really support the health of the skin from the inside out, the book The Truth About Beauty by Kat James is a great one. And then if you're wanting to dive into essential oils and you really kind of want to research that, we have several books, but this one, The Complete Book of Essential Aromatherapy by Valerie Ann Wormwood, is a great resource. Also, if you come into the store, we offer so much as far as resources. We have a ton of handouts that we can give you, and a lot of them that kind of apply to this class are available if you're interested. If you're interested in that things we don't carry and why handout, you can ask for that next time you're in. If you want to read more about coconut oil, we have handouts on coconut oil. And there's a great one on essential oils, kind of dives into safety, testing, purity, what do you want to look for on a label. If you liked my idea about making a honey mask, we have a handout on honey and how it has many health benefits other than it being used for sweetness. If you're thinking about how to protect your skin from the sun as we're moving into the summer months, and it's pretty shortly here, we do have a handout that's entitled Protecting Your Skin from UV Damage, Topical Solutions, and there's one that talks about things you can take internally, like the green tea and other beta carotene and those kind of compounds that can protect your skin. If you're interested in maybe some free recipe ideas, we carry 4 or 5 different essential oil brands. And one of the ones that we carry is Aracacia. If you go to their website, www.aracacia.com, that's down there. It's a great resource for recipes, education and information on what different essential oils do and how to use them. So hopefully you've gotten some ideas on and become more comfortable with do-it-yourself body care ingredients and how to make them. Thank you so much for your attention during this class. I really appreciate it. And you are welcome to come visit me at Natural Grocers if you have more questions. If you're thinking you do want to set up an individual coaching session, that's available by appointment. They're free, and we actually give you a $5 coupon for making one of those appointments every time you make an appointment. So it's a win-win for you. One thing I will also let you know is that when you attend classes that I give out in the community, like this one here at the Pikes Peak Library, you can come in and get a coupon as well. So all you have to do is mention to one of our staff members that you attended the do-it-yourself body care class at Pikes Peak Library virtually, and they'll give you a $5 coupon to be used in the store. So before we end, does anybody have any questions on anything I talked about today? Whether it's toxins and chemicals in conventional body care products or new kind of ideas for do-it-yourself body care products. You can feel free to unmute, or you can certainly put it into the chat pane. I'm going to pull up the chat pane so I can see if there is any questions. Thank you so much, Melissa, for supporting and helping with adding all those handouts into the chat pane so they're available for you guys. So there's a recipe handout that you can take advantage of. It's really fun. It has recipes for the salt and sugar scrubs. It has recipes for a skin softening oatmeal bath, a chocolatey lip balm, which I love. I've used that recipe. And there's one for a deodorant bar.
Thank you, Dawn. As always, I learned something, so.
Well, thank you. Thanks for attending. And then if you missed it, or if you have some friends that really would enjoy this information, they can watch it on the recording.
Thank you,
Yes,
everyone.
thank you.
For joining. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.